following videos show an interaction between a clinician and a patient in which the safety planning intervention is being used to help keep the patient safe after discharge from the healthcare organization. There are 4 videos, each showing a different part of the safety planning intervention.
Hi Mike, I'm Dr. Brown. I'm a psychologist here at the hospital, and I've been asked to see you given your recent suicide attempt by overdose. And so what I'd like to do today is hear your story, what led up to the attempt, and then we can put our heads together and think of some things that we can do that might be helpful to you. So tell me what happened, what led up to the overdose?
I've been struggling for a long time, depression. And, just haven't felt energetic or like, and it was really starting to bother my wife. I wasn't helping with the kids or getting the chores done that I said I was going to do. And we got in a big fight last night, and she decided she needed to go somewhere where there'd be support, and that meant leaving. And I really felt like a failure. And, if I'm really that big a burden to my family, the pain really just got to me. So I had some painkillers left over from a knee operation, and, I guzzled them.
Mm-hmm. And so you overdosed on some painkillers, and then what happened?
Well, she had left the house to cool down, I guess, or whatever, and came back, and she clearly knew something was wrong. And I told her what I'd done, and she called an ambulance, and they came and got me to the hospital, and they did whatever.
How do you feel about being here?
Glad I'm alive, but ashamed. Glad I'm here.
I'm glad you're here too. It's really good you're willing to talk with me and get some help. Thank you for telling your story. I want to make sure I understand you, so I'm going to just summarize a little bit of the main points that I heard.
Okay.
And I'm going to write them down on this piece of paper. And we have what's called a suicide risk curve, which is risk here and time here, usually in hours. So it started off with your wife getting into an argument and saying she was going to leave.
Yeah.
And then you felt like a failure.
Yep.
And then you felt like your family was giving up on you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you had a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And that led to you taking the overdose. And then your wife ended up intervening and took you to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And then you feel ashamed about being here, but you're glad nothing bad happened.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And if you look at this suicide risk curve, you see how the risk escalates to the point that you wanted to take your life, and then it kind of de-escalates, or the risk comes back down.
Okay.
So it kind of comes and goes, right?
Yeah.
And so this is really important, because if we can get you to recognize your warning signs when the curve starts to escalate, and then what you can do to prevent this from going to the top, that's going to help get you through a crisis. Okay?
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. So one of the ways we do this is by filling out what's called a safety plan.
Okay.
The safety plan is a document that includes your warning signs and some coping strategies to help you get through this kind of rough period. Okay?
Yep.
You can see it has 6 steps, and the first step is identifying your warning signs. And from your story, what do you think your warning signs were?
Feeling like a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Being a burden to my family.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that pain for sure.
And pain. Do you think those are good warning signs? Like if you experience them again, that you will know you're in a crisis?
Yeah, I think so.
You think they'd be helpful for identifying when the crisis is beginning?
Yeah.
And when you experience a warning sign, that means that you're to pull out your safety plan.
Okay.
Okay?
Makes sense.
So we're going to fill out the rest of this together, as a team. Both of us kind of working on this, put our heads together.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
The scenario you just watched is common for clinicians in emergency departments and other acute care services. The conversation between the clinician and the patient was structured to present the patient with the option of having a safety plan that includes strategies that the patient comes up with that can be used to head off a future crisis that could lead to another suicide attempt. In the next video, you can listen in on how this patient and the clinician develop a safety plan together.